Today I want to talk about my favorite hiking shoes for category B and BC, and that shoe is the Meindoll Safari Medium Pro. The Pro is not always mentioned, but you can find it under Safari and otherwise under Desert. So, Meindoll Desert is also a name. Actually, the Desert Fox is the high version. This is the medium version, and that's called the Safari. But you know, they sometimes get mixed up. But anyway, these are my favorite shoes for category B, BC hiking. And they of course are meant for tropical circumstances or warm, dry circumstances with rocky and debris kind of like surfaces, so loose rocks, etc. So that's where they should perform really well. But I'm going to test them on several surfaces just because that's how I hike. Let's have a look at first outside on different surfaces, how they perform, and then I will do some pros and cons and an end conclusion, and maybe that helps you to decide whether to buy them or not. Alright, let's go outside. Okay, bonus material, tropical shoes on very compacted ice, snow, and you can see that it is very slippery and very cold. So, not that you're going to walk on ice with these shoes, but okay. Okay, so before we get to the pros and cons, let's do a close-up. Here you can see the side, you can see the mesh and the mesh here. The sole has a nice, sort of like a plastic, guard here. So it's nice and high. That keeps the water out at least somewhat. The nose also has a pretty high up shape so that it also protects the leather and also against a little bit of water. The other side, of course, not many difference there. There are holes in the leather, even making the breathability even better. And on the back is a nice feature as well. It has a little flappy here. Well, you can use it to pull them on. It's not much grip, but it helps. And it has some softer material here, and that helps with walking. So there's a little bit of a flexibility here at the back of the shoe. Well, there is of course a removable sole. These come with them. This is pretty thin material, but it's nice and comfortable, and it's breathable. And it dries really quick. So that is a plus. So on the inside, it's just a white liner. I don't know if you can see that with that light, but it's just some white fabric there, and basically the inside, it's nice and soft. And on the front of the shoe here at the lip, there is a hole where you can put your laces through, so the tongue of the shoe doesn't move around. And of course, this being an army version, the top loops are actually loops and not hooks, so it's not really quick putting them on and off, but at least the laces will stay where they are. The sole is made by Meindl. It's a multi-grip sole, at least in the army versions. I think the civilian versions sometimes also have Vibram soles, and these are, I think, made under license of Vibram. I'm not totally sure, but that's what I think. Now, I had them over a year, and I've been hiking on gravel, asphalt, and of course dirt and other things. But I think I can already see the inner sole get through the outer sole here. So that is kind of a thing. So I think the soles wear down pretty fast. They are relatively soft. I can actually press them in with my finger. But when it gets colder, the soles actually get really hard. And I think that's why they lose grip when you get to low temperatures. And especially on ice and that kind of slippery stuff. Alright, so let's go to the pros and cons. So on the pro side, they're relatively lightweight for B category shoes, maybe even C. They're only 800 grams each. They are very breathable, so in hot weather you really get some ventilation going. They have multi-grip soles with warmer weather that is really good grip on asphalt and mud and other rocks, etc. They have good torsional resistance. I mean, they are really sturdy shoes. They're really high comfortable, and yet you can really do some climbing and other things with that. And if you have a heavy backpack, you even get some decent support, although you wouldn't expect it. And of course you also can get them in a high version, exactly the same shoe, but with a little bit more ankle protection and support. So that I think is a nice thing. And then of course it's called the Desert Fox. On the downside, they're not waterproof at all. Now for me that's not such a big problem because I don't really hike much in the wet weather. But if you go into a swampy area, that might be an issue. Of course you would never wear these because these are really desert shoes, so dry, hot weather, but still. You can waterproof them a little bit, giving you a little bit of rain protection, but don't expect too much. The Army versions actually have loops, and I think that is a bit of a downside because the hooks would be very easy to undo, and when you put your shoes on it would be quicker. So when you put them on and off a little bit more often than just once, that becomes a thing. The soles, I really like them in warm weather and on most surfaces, but when it gets colder the soles get really hard. So they become really stiff and almost like hard plastic something, and you lose some of the grip, especially on ice, snow, and things like that. Of course, they're never meant for that, so no problem there. But just so you know, they take a little bit of breaking in, so they're not comfortable right away when you buy them. You need some distance to break them in, a few miles at least to get them adjusted to your feet. You cannot resole these shoes, so unfortunately once you run out of the sole, that's the end of the shoe. And final thing, I think the soles wear out relatively fast. I only had this for about a year, so I'm still figuring it out. But let's see how long they will last. Right, so those are the pros and cons that I found. If you have any questions, put them in the comment below, and I hope it helped. See you next time.